So that's what we have ahead of us today. And these second round matches are now best five-frame contests, obviously. So this is the first of 3 sessions for Dave and Rob between now and tomorrow evening. It was Dave Gilbert who took the first with a knock of 50. And we're going to head into frame 2. Gilbert is down by 17 points. He's being watched by his daughter, Abby, his wife, Abby, I beg your pardon, and his daughter, Taylor, who's celebrating her 6th birthday today. So in we go, and the commentary this afternoon from 2 Triple Crown winners, Sean Murphy and Steve Davis.
Well, he got so close to it. He's left it in the jaws, as is the way now with these super tight pockets. See there, it got so close, it was almost in, and it's just stayed there. But it's stuck enough to this cushion just to make this slightly awkward. Needs to give this due care and attention. Nicely done. Cue ball running loose though. How's he going to finish? It's not great. But with the yellow being off its spot, he's got a huge gap up that side of the table now to bring the cue ball somewhere over the yellow spot. Back down using a couple of cushions for the reds behind the black. And this looks perfect. I'm going to say that. It's actually finished in the worst position possible. He's got straight on the red on the cushion, and the red behind the black's going to run into the black. So this is actually very tricky.
Yeah, it was a bit unlucky, that. A bit harder, a bit softer. He's on this red a lot easier. I thought for a second that might just sneak in, but the pockets are fractionally tighter this year, it feels, from previous years.
And they have been all season, to be honest. They're a new batch of tables from the manufacturer, and you know, we're told that they're the same size pockets, but they have been performing just that little bit more difficult. I've seen those go in before, I have to say. But I think they're fair. They're not overly tight.
One.
With that in mind, and the black off the spot, that's a tough red along the top cushion to guarantee position as well. If they become very tight, then you have to break this out. If you know, the tighter the pockets, the more you've got to consider knocking a ball off a cushion. He's going to leave himself a bit further away, maybe from the red with this black, unless it's... No, it could get an angle, so a wonderful shot there. Thought that was dead straight. He's got close enough that this is a chance.
I'm not sure what angles he's got here though, Steve. It looks very, very straight. You can't do much from there. I mean, in an exhibition, you play this with topspin and rattle the cue ball in the jaws of the pocket out into open play, but I'm not sure we do that here. Well, he has. Look at the cue ball. Well, he tried to rattle it out of the corner pocket. That was incredibly risky trying to do that. I thought he might just pop the red and play the snooker in behind the black, but if he wants to go for this black, he's got the natural angle to get up for the yellow. Big shot. Ah, good pot. Now how's the pace on the cue ball? How's the pace on the cue ball?
Fantastic.
16.
Yeah, he could have played
18.
pot the red and play safe, but a much more aggressive and attacking way to go about trying to win this second frame.
21.
And this will hurt Robert Milkins.
.5.
2 points ahead. Blue and pink for an early steal.
30.
Fantastic performance there from Dave Gilbert. It hasn't been plain sailing for him, but he's done his job brilliantly well to steal that second.
Yeah, and I just wonder, although it was a very difficult shot anyway, I just wonder whether he was slightly disturbed by the roar from the other side of the arena as that match is now finished. He sort of gave himself an extra few seconds before he played that shot out of his normal rhythm. I wonder if that just disturbed him slightly, but that's gone. And then after this frame now, they will raise the curtain and they will play their remaining frames with the entire crucible to themselves, but that's going to come after this contribution from Rob Milkins.
And he needs to make a contribution, you feel, just to settle himself down. Looked like he was getting that in the last frame, but it came to a grinding halt. You can't ask for a much better chance, though. That red's a little bit difficult next to the black.
9. Would you please put the wrappers down? $14. 15.
Well, we saw enough from Rob Milkins in the previous frame. He was in with a break of 55 and he started to look pretty good towards the end of that break before it went wrong. And this is an even better chance to get his first frame of the match on the board. He'd be very annoyed if he wasn't to go ahead and make enough points here to open his account. Doesn't have to make any cannons here. All the reds he needs are in open play. Just needs to keep close, tight control of that cue ball.
$29. 30.
Yeah, nicely played. He said he didn't have to make any cannons, but he finished in that low position on the black. He used those two as a stopper. Just took the pace out of the cue ball, and now he's back in prime position.
$45.
He can be a very streaky player, Robert Milkins, and that's not criticism, it's just sometimes you need a bit of inspiration, a springboard, and then he goes on the rampage.
46.
Playing maybe with the shackles on his arm in his first round match, but got over the line.
$51. 52.
Yeah, you can see he's a bit short on the blue there. And now he's got to stay a bit further from his next red than he wanted to. He's looking for the red through the gap of red and pink, that one there, which he's on. But this is what we talk about, close control of the cue ball as he approaches the line in this frame. It's just started to go wrong. That red only just gone in. Now he's finished too close to the side cushion. This is what happens. And that black struggled in off the far knuckle. Now, can he get through to the red past the pink? 65 points
65.
to the good here. 75 remaining. Red and a colour. Well, the last 3 shots have only just gone in, but gone in they have. And now it's the simplest of blacks for Robert Milkins to take this third frame. I don't think he meant to cannon into that red, to be honest. I think he was playing for the loose red. It's gone ever so slightly wrong. There you see it, 73 ahead, 67 remaining. So 2 snookers required for Dave Gilbert here in this frame, if he gets a chance. And Rob Milkins trying to spoil the table. I'm sure Dave Gilbert will come back. He does.
Milkins.
But barring
73.
snookers, that break of 73 gives Robert Milkins this frame.
Yep, that knock of 73 was the foundation of that frame win from the Milkman. So frame 4 now, the last before their interval, and it's Gilbert on a break of 51 as we join it.
51.
Fair to say, I think Dave Gilbert has looked the more comfortable of the 2 players here. Sorry, Dave.
David Gilbert, 51.
Well, I'm really not sure about that choice of shot. He's come round to have a look and raises his hand in apology. He must have got away with it. That was a very, very risky high tariff shot. On the basis that you would have assumed he would have been leaving at least 1 potable red on for Dave Gilbert. Not sure he's left any. Dave Gilbert's up at the balk end having a look at what he can do, but where he can put the cue ball safe. That red does pop, but he won't be interested in that at all. He's got a shot on the red underneath the black. He can play off it and knock the cue ball in behind the green. He can clip off the red closest to the cue ball and play safe into balk. He was probably just trying to compose himself and calm down the fact that he wasn't on a red.
Good cue ball, and also worked out a way to push a red to the side cushion.
Well, he hasn't gotten away with that one this time. Could have played safe there as well. It looks like Milkins has decided to go all-out attack now in this match. Feels early for that kind of call.
1.
This really should now be 3-1. Just half a dozen shots or so away for Dave Gilbert. And he'll enjoy his 15-minute break a little bit more than Rob Milkins, I would suggest. Rob looks fairly troubled there. Hasn't been a great start. A long way to go in this match just yet. Bit early for the head down treatment. Not great body language that he's giving out to his opponent anyway.
6.
Long way to go in this match.
Seven.
Yeah, Dave Gilbert won't be watching Robert Milkins as much as we are, squirming in his chair, frustrated, but he'll sense that. He'll sense Rob's not really settled down.
Yeah, and of course Rob will be aware that we're all focusing on him because there are screens above the rig and where the lights are, and he can see that. The screens
14.
are there for the crowd, but the players use them to have a look and see what we can see. And then he'll be aware
15.
that his face keeps popping up on them. He's shorter pace on the blue, but it's a blue that will put him into snooker's required territory. 66 points to the good. The blue will make it 71. 67 remaining, so he'd love to find a way onto another red after this, but that looks very hard to do. And I'm reminded in my match the other day, my opponent had a blue like this that bounced out the pocket. He hit it so hard. I thought Dave might have tried smashing that in and getting the cue ball around the table, but I've seen a couple of balls bounce out so far this week.
20.
Trying to get the cue ball in behind the green here. Plain ball, quarter ball off the red. Well, I'm sure he would have tried to get behind the green.
David Gilbert, 20.
Very aggressive. It's a fine line, isn't it? Good effort. That was a better one. It's not been all plain sailing for Dave Gilbert, but he's looked the stronger of the two players here this afternoon.
8.
A bit more of a comfortable start than his first round against Luca Brasselli. He was on the back foot for most of that match. A fantastic comeback against Luca. And this is his reward.
16.
Starting to flow quite nicely against an opponent currently
17.
struggling. And that's end of break
20.
and end of the mini session.
David Gilbert, 22.
Robert Milkins nods, walks off. Dave Gilbert goes into a 3-1 lead.
Now the only second round tie which features two seeds. So dangerous has the progress been for the seeded players so far. But
Thank you.
we are heading straight back to the
25,
Crucible.
David
It's Gilbert, the
break.
qualifier, with a 3-1 lead, and we'll hand you straight back to Sean and to Steve.
Yes, thank you, Hazel. Robert Milkins needs to up his game a bit here. Get his scoring boots on. He's well capable. Just a bit frustrated at the moment out there.
See some stats of the match so far running across the bottom of your screens there. Long pot success, twice as good for Gilbert. Safety success, just under 3/4 for Dave. Pretty good for Milkins so far. Doesn't tell the story of the match. Average shot time, well, they're both fairly swift. They both like to get on with it. And the highest break. Again, not telling the full story there. Dave only with a top break of 51, but leading 3-1. Got very close to this red, and as is the way, when you get that close, they tend to stay in the angles, and this is a gift for Rob Milkins.
One.
Had chances in almost every frame, if not them all, pre-interval. Looked a very frustrated figure towards the end of it. I'm sure he's had a word with himself in the interval, and he'll be looking to put that right now.
Ideally would like an angle on this
8.
black to nudge the red above it away. Ooh, dear me. Okay,
9.
no problem. He knew it was going in, but it wasn't a confidence booster, was it? Should be able to get this red away from the other red. Could open up nicely. Didn't have that exactly as planned, but he
16.
can still stay on the black.
17. 20. 25.
Yeah.
Rob Milkins just spotting something he doesn't like on the cue ball. It's a long time since we used to be blighted by the kick. You do get the odd one every now and again, but the days of having the cue ball cleaned multiple times a frame are long gone. Will I say it, Steve, or do you want to say it? That's 4 reds, 4 blacks.
32. 33.
A little bit of work to be done to open the pack up sufficiently to make it a clear-cut chance, but there aren't any reds on cushions. That helps. It's ran a bit too far. May just be able to keep on the black. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
41.
It's going to start getting a little trickier now. Those two reds look like they also go into this left corner near the pink. That would help. A little bit in
48.
no man's land as far as getting back on the black. And obviously winning the frame is more important.
$49.
Just gone slightly too far if we're being super critical here. He can't pop the blue and hold the cue ball for that single red on its own. May have to use a cushion. And that's gone wrong.
Well, I feel like it was a wrong shot.
54.
Asking for trouble. Other shots were available there. Tough recovery. And once again,
Robert Milkins, 54.
frustration for Robert Milkins.
Yeah, and I just wonder, Steve, whether we're seeing the results of someone who came through quite a stressful match a couple of days ago, not 48 hours ago, actually, and has he had time to recover from that emotionally? He looks on the verge of having a bit of a snap to me. Doesn't look calm and relaxed as we see the double from Dave Gilbert, who on the other hand has had 5 or 6 days to think about this match. Played day one, chilled out, went home, relaxed, prepared for this match. Not necessarily the same test for both of these players. One finished 2 days ago, the other finished nearly a week ago. Does that play a part? No, what a split he's played here. How's this going to work out? Not great. Couldn't have played this much better. Crisply into the heart of the pocket, got the cannon correct. Bit unlucky.
Yeah, because he didn't blast at that. He played a control split, hoping to not push the reds all over the place, but he got a bit unlucky the way they resolved. So this is a tough shot.
Gilbert, 4.
Essential to strike the middle of the cue ball when using the spider. It's almost impossible to do. It's incredibly difficult to use.
Yeah, that's why I preferred that little bit on the rest. It made it a lower angle you were coming in at, less likely to swerve the cue ball with accidental side spin.
Dave, very interested in the potting angle for this red over the right corner. Won't know much about where the cue ball's going. But if you can pot this and get on a colour, fancy him for the frame.
Please make sure your phones are on silent.
That was a bit of a frog ringtone there. Incredible. Just turn them off. Yeah, good shot. Especially after the distraction in the shot build-up. Bit unlucky not to be on a colour. As I said before, he didn't really know where the cue ball was going to go. The important thing was the pot. Could have finished anywhere. And as it is, just had the roll-up to the brown.
1.
And it is advantage Gilbert, despite trailing by 49.
Yeah, sometimes you want to get rolled up a lot tighter behind the baulk colour than that, but in this instance wasn't so essential. He's still given Robert Milkins a big problem. hitting a red, pretty easy. Getting it safe. Maybe a bit of luck attached to that part.
Well, numbers. David Gilbert, 4.
It's not a bad idea though, is it? Hit the second cushion, hit the back of the red, send the cue ball to the top cushion.
Yeah, that was the line I put on. I thought he might be trying to hit the other side of the red and skim the cue ball down to the cushion, but he's going in from behind. Same result, good shot. I think the red passes the pink. That's what Rob Milkins has just come round to have a look at. Does it go through the gap? It might do. Well, it does. And if Dave can pop this and get on a colour, he could win this frame. Is he on the block? How's the cannon go?
I bet Robert Wilkins breathed a huge sigh of relief there, knowing full well that Dave wasn't on that black. He'd have been fearing the worst had he been. Can just about get through to the yellow, but doesn't want to play the yellow safe, so he's got to try and play a decent safety shot without pushing the yellow to the side cushion.
David Gilbert, 1.
Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it? The standard safety shot put the yellow to the side cushion. He didn't want to do that, made his counter clearance much more difficult. And I'm sure that red that's 2 from the pink underneath it will pot to this right. You can play this shot. Cue ball back to ball. Yellow's waiting. Yeah, just a whisker too thin. Didn't get the cannon on the brown. That's fine. Has he got cover behind the green? I think he has. Yeah, I'm not sure if Dave's going for this red or playing the dump shot. I think he's going for it. Great chance if he gets it. Couldn't have got much closer to it. The yellow was waiting for him over the pocket. And now the chance falls for Robert Milkins.
Oh, what he'd give to knock this in. He's desperate to get over the line after being first in. Just can't get it. Just
Yeah, I'm not sure on the angle here, but he'd love to be able to go for the red underneath the pink and arc the cue ball through the gap of the 2 reds and black. I'm not sure that angle's there. Could go for that red under the pink, like a shot to nothing yellow waiting. Would the cue ball go through the gap? Well, he's looking at playing off the red and the black, I think. Or the red next door. Mustn't be on. Yeah, good shot that. Good cue ball, and he's put the black safe. That was by intention. Oh no, sorry, what am I saying? He's behind. He didn't want to put the black safe. It was a good cue ball though.
5 reds and 5 pinks, and the colours would mean that Dave Gilbert wouldn't need the black. Maybe can afford less than all pinks. Still didn't really want to put it safe, and you can see now what he's just lined up there. Can he play a safety shot and break out the black? Making Robert Milkins work hard to win the frame.
He didn't mean to put the cue ball there, that's for certain. Caught that red a bit too thin, I think. Didn't mean for it to finish there. He's got away with one, because if it hadn't finished behind the brown, he'd have left the red over the pocket.
Not too sure if he can play a one cushion escape. It's the type of situation where you possibly might feel like you're just going to have a blast at it. Lay on the red maybe could help. This is a tough shot.
Foul. Thomas. Forward Milkins 4.
Well, I have to say I'm shocked that he's having that replaced. I mean, the red down the cushion into this bottom right-hand corner pocket wasn't that difficult. I can't believe he had that replaced, Steve.
Well, sometimes that's a sign of a player not in the most confident of moods, hoping maybe for an easier position as a starter. It's going to be tough for Dave Gilbert to lay on this red, but if he does do it successfully, then it magnifies the choice of mistake. Well,
Foul.
irrelevant now.
Robert Milkins 4. One.
This looks like the right choice now. It wasn't a great attempt by Dave Gilbert there to get out the snooker. Completely mishit it. This blue will put Rob Milkins 58 points up with just 59 remaining. So just one more red. And he's going to win this first frame after the resumption of play. 3 more to play after this in this first session of 8.
7. Twelve. 13. 19. 20. One. 28.
Some welly twice across the table, perfectly on the
33.
yellow. Amazing what the players can do with the cue ball when it doesn't matter anymore. I didn't see that shot coming though. He won't be too bothered about the miss on the yellow. So there's Rob Milkins. Took a couple of bites of the cherry. Earlier break of 54 sets him up and he reduces his arrears to just one. He trails.
He does
3-2.
not craft many tons in any given season, John, does he?
No, that part of it. But what also it belies is, and I've seen him on numerous occasions, I've seen him go toe-to-toe with really good hard match players. And he can have spells where he really matches them and puts them in a load of trouble. So he's actually, despite the way he looks like, he's actually a very good all-round match player.
He is, and a two-time world ranking winner, of course. Gibraltar Open a couple of years ago, and of course the Welsh Open. And Sean Murphy in commentary, well, you were in that final with him, obviously, and it was quite a game and quite an occasion, wasn't it?
It was, Hazel. It was. Thank you for reminding me. It was a great week, particularly for Rob Milkins. He was by far the better player. And as you said in there in the interval, when he gets on a roll, when he gets a head of steam up, he can really do some damage. A very simple technique.
1.
Doesn't get over-involved in grip pressures, bridge positions, weight distribution. Just gets down, sees the shot, plays it, and it can be very effective.
He's been beating himself up in his chair a bit today. Lots of facial expressions. Has appeared to not be happy about what's happened so far, but no real reason. Obviously all these players are perfectionists in their own way. This could be good if you can get on this red by the black. Just needs a bit more. Would like to have been straighter.
Shot. 4.
Rob Milkins has been to the Crucible 10 times. This is
9.
his 10th appearance. He's actually never been past the last 16. He got to the last 16 on his very first appearance here at the Crucible back in 2002. He lost
10.
with a session to spare, 13-2 to Ronnie O'Sullivan. And in this round he's lost to Ricky Walden, Mark Williams, and last year, of course, to Si Jiahui, the giant killer.
Yeah. $15.
Made 2 centuries here at the Crucible. The highest, which was 106. He's made 194 in his career, but just 8 this season. So underlying what
16.
the guys were saying in the studio between frames, he's not necessarily known for his high scoring, break building prowess. But he is very, very good in all areas.
$23. $24.
Seeded 16, world ranking 16. That in itself is a success story for Robert Milkins. There was a time possibly when you could have seen him slipping down the rankings and becoming an also-ran, but has rallied really well. You don't do that without a great deal of talent. Doesn't like it though, does he? It's come a bit too straight on the black.
You'd really have to hit this hard to get the cue ball off the cushion and into the pack of reds with enough pace to do some damage. Yeah, he's tried his best, but he wasn't really in the right position for that, and that's gone wrong.
31.
I think that's end of break.
Touching ball.
So touching ball called. Can play away as long as he doesn't move the red he's touching, which he didn't.
What do you think, Sean? You've got a player like Robert, not the most prolific break builder. How do you improve? How would he improve his break building?
Yeah, I think it's a case of, you know, having a look at some stats and having a look at, you know, why do these breaks break down? Interestingly there, you know, he ran out of open reds before he reluctantly looked at opening them. You find the really high-class break builders, they pick their route around the table better. It's not necessarily they're better at any particular shots. They're actually making better decisions as to when and how to split the packs open.
He's caught that thick, may have got away with it. I think that's maybe where the next phase of coaching might come in. Break building coaches, not just technical coaches or mind coaches. Stephen Hendry sitting in the studio wouldn't mind him on your side, would you, in the break building department?
Yeah, he definitely knew his way around the table, didn't he? Was a break building master. An absolute machine in around the pink and black spots. Just to get those reds open as quickly as possible and then mop them up. But knowing what shot to play and when to play it is a massive, massive part of this game. Surely this red doesn't pass through the gap into the right middle pocket. If it does, then that's a mistake from Dave Gilbert. It mustn't do, otherwise Rob Milkins would already be down playing it. He's looking at the red to the green pocket and wondering what he'd leave should he go for it. This is a big shot to take on. Oh no, he's playing one to the middle pocket. He's found another one. It's very close. Good shot.
One.
Picked that one out really well.
So even shots like this, different players will have a different idea about how they're going to go about trying to get on the next red. Some are maybe slightly more accurate with less risk than others. Sean, what would your choice be?
Well, I've just put that line on the table there. If you play a cannon to that red at a nice pace, it's hard to see how he could not finish on a red. That's the shot that I'd be playing. He's played the cannon to the other red, and that's worked out really well too. And it's about looking at risk assessment and optimising how that cue ball might finish around the table. Which shot can I play here that has the least risk for maximum gain?
It's a tough thing to teach. Sort of you learn your trade from experience, but some people learn, and some people get in habits as well, don't they? They never get out of.
Well, he's underhit that by some distance. Bearing in mind, he could have played for yellow or brown. To finish low on the blue isn't great. He's had the cue ball cleaned a number of times. Sometimes when it's a new cloth, the cue ball picks up new fibres that break off from the bays. That could be covering the cue ball. That's gone wrong again. He very, very nearly lost his cue there. He very nearly put it through the floor.
20.
I said in the previous frame he looked like he was going to have a bit of a snap. It nearly came there. Managed to hold on to his patience.
Yeah. Every time you're among the balls and you've got a chance to win the frame and you don't win it, you're increasing the chances, obviously, that your opponent can nick the frame from you. But over a season, they all add up, and you do lose frames that another person wouldn't lose. It's just the numbers game in that department. That's why it's so important, especially these days, once you're amongst the balls, to try and win that frame in one visit.
Rob Milkins, 20.
Well, trailing by 51. If Dave can get to the red past the green, he'll move it and put the cue ball back to baulk. But he's looking at this red, which tells me the green's in the way. That is the shot. But of course, you can only play the red if you can see it. He's looked at the potting angle of this red. This is a big shot if he takes this on. 69% for long pot success here in this match so far. Oh, that is excellent, David Gilbert. What a piece of cueing he's found there. Pick that out. And all of Rob Milkins' hopes now for winning this frame are pinned on that red that's on the right-hand side cushion. That's the only obstacle in David Gilbert's path to stealing this frame.
9.
And obviously, it's not badly placed, should you be able to break it out from the green. Dave Gilbert will be already aware of that, but he's still got to keep his mind on every shot, one ball at a time.
16.
Not think too far ahead.
Seventeen.
Coincidentally, Dave Gilbert has also appeared at the Crucible 10 times. Made his debut
24.
back in 2007, losing to Stephen Hendry. And of course, he had that very famous and much loved run to the semis in 2019, where he lost by that deciding frame, that painful deciding frame, 17-16 to John Higgins.
Doesn't have to use the green
31.
to try and break the red open. Could try pink or black. Pushing it towards the green pocket.
32.
Much depends upon the position he gets off this second last red.
$39. 40.
It's tough to drop behind it, but that could be the option.
Oh, I like the cannon here, Steve.
Yeah.
It's almost unmissable. Wow, that's a really poor shot. It's not unlucky, it's a really poor shot. He had such a margin of error to
47.
hit the cushion anywhere before the red past the middle pocket. Anywhere past that middle jaw on the cushion, and he cannons into the red and knocks it towards the green pocket. That was a bad shot.
Not sure if he's got the double on. Probably has. Could straighten it up with a bit of side spin if it's not ideal, but tempting to play the safety shot as well behind the black.
There, Gilbert, 47.
It's okay. But he'd have preferred to have forced his opponent to play off a side cushion, not straight up and down.
Wants that red to pull up, doesn't want to have knocked it over the middle pocket. And he has more frustration being vented by Milkins. He's really starting to give out, boiling over, I think, here. Feeling the pressure of the Crucible Theatre. Never been past the second round. And it's all just starting to come out. The pressure of the Crucible.
One.
That's a nasty little cutback on the black. You'd fancy him to pot it if it wasn't for the fact he's got to try and play position as well. He looked at the cue ball hitting just before the centre pocket, but it might be better if he could play with a bit of screw back. Depends how thin it is.
Yeah, that's well controlled. Excellent shot from Dave Gilbert. And this would be a real body blow to land on Robert Milkins. And of course, if Gilbert were to win this frame, get into 4 first, it guarantees him the worst he can finish this session is level.
10.
Would have liked a bit more on that green. So he could have played the brown in the centre pocket. Now he may have to sacrifice position slightly. He's looking at, does he fancy that brown from the green spot, or does he play the straightforward screw back with pretty small margin of error? Cut his losses.
13.
This is a big shot.
Well, if he tries to stun the cue ball around the house for the blue, this makes this very, very missable. Needs the brown and the blue for the frame. Oh, he's played that really well. The cue ball to travel on. Had to be so accurate there with the brown at that pace into the middle pocket. And now this half ball blue for the frame. It's there, no thought of position for the pink, just needed the blue. And this is going to hurt Robert Milkins. Still shaking his head. In or over, that'll do just fine. Dave Gilbert steals the frame. Needed a couple of contributions, some excellent shots. And Rob Milkins, left to rue his mistakes of earlier on, he trails 4 frames to 2.
Key part of that is not panicking when things like that happen, I guess.
Absolutely, but you just went into kill mode straight away, didn't you? Which was what we usually would see. It's usually a good way. Get a nice lead, and then you can not worry about too many sessions that you play. But yeah, that's why you play. You play each mini session, and sometimes losing a session 5-3 can actually be quite a good result. Especially if your opponent has played all over you. Sometimes you think, well, hang on a minute, he's not going to play like that the next one. So it all varies with each player and each session that you get. But yeah, try and get the best out of each mini one.
Okay,
Thank you.
we've got
Frame 7.
2 more frames to play this
Gilbert,
afternoon
break.
in this opening session, and they're going to be coming back tomorrow morning and evening. So long match. Back we go, frame 7.
Yeah, picking up on studio chat there. Once you got through your first round match, that 9-frame session and then maybe a 10-frame session, 8 frames in a session seems quite short in comparison.
Yeah, it does, but there's nothing short about these 25s. Especially when they're spread over 3 days, as some of them are. These two are going to come back in the morning. And it's not nice sleeping on a deficit. You don't mind sleeping on one just by the odd frame, as we see the replay of Rob snicking that red into the middle. Oh, but that is a terrible, terrible miss. And what damage has he done?
First Milkins, 1.
And that is evidence of the mental torture he's been putting himself through. We said before, he doesn't have an overly complicated technique, but these are all mental problems. These are all mental decisions. He's just in the wrong frame of mind to be out there now playing competitive snooker. He's lost all patience, all composure. And whilst Dave Gilbert might not be watching him as intensely as we are, he'll be picking up on these signs, and he needs to capitalise. He could break the back of the match here if he wins these next two. 6-2. Well, not many matches are lost from that position.
1.
That was well worked out. Not only did he clear the red away from the black, but got the cue ball away from cushions as well. So not a clear-cut chance here, but a good one.
Eight. 9. Sixteen. 70.
Oh, yeah, there you see the unforced errors count. 4 against 3. Maybe slightly more than that in places, but sometimes it's not necessarily about the mistake itself. It's sometimes about when you do it, isn't it? It's a myriad of features, and there's so many component parts to what makes it happen, isn't there, Steve?
Yeah, they're unforced potting errors, but he's made as many, if not more, positional errors, that's for certain.
$25.
Now, I don't think that red underneath the pink is potable to this left corner. It goes to the right middle, I think, should he be in the right position. There we see it, not potable into this left corner. So only one loose red left in open play. How and when is he going to force that cue ball into that pack of reds? There he looks. That's the angle he wants on the black. He wants to be top side of the black, about half ball, and he can play the cannon off the cushion into the reds in a shot's time. Needs to cue this nicely with the rest. Yeah, well played. Floated it in nicely, and I think that's about perfect.
Yeah, and also he's close enough that if he does put a bit of effort in, he'll still fancy not missing the pot. If you're another foot away from that, it's a more missable shot. He'll be sort of half okay with this, wouldn't he?
37.
Sort of, it's turned out all right, but it could have been better.
Yeah, it's my least favourite shot, that, the top spin off the cushion into the pack. It's not a nice shot. And this isn't as inviting as it might look on screen. Cue ball just stunned into that red a little bit too much. He intended the cue ball to stun run through the second red and wanted this shot to the pink to the right middle to be straighter than it is. This is now a little bit missable. He should get it, of course, but seen these missed before.
Yeah, it was a bit low on the cue ball there. You can see how difficult a cut into the centre pocket that is. So much so, could be considering pink into the green pocket. They're both nasty.
These are the moments though, Steve, aren't they? You've got your opponent exactly where you want him. Reds everywhere. We wouldn't want to miss this now and throw Milkins a lifeline. Good shot. Straight in the heart of the pocket. Very confidently played from Dave Gilbert there, covering the spot as well. Pink up onto the blue spot. Fully committed. No thought about what he'd do if he'd missed it. Oh, but he's really zipped into the back of that cue ball there. Got way too much backspin. Maybe a bit of adrenaline, sensing how important this moment is.
$52. 53.
So this black will put Dave Gilbert 59 points ahead. 75 remaining. So he's only a few shots away from guaranteeing himself an overnight lead.
$60. 61.
There's one more red after this black. And that'll be this frame over.
$68. 69.
Yeah, taking these nicely. Been a couple of rescue shots in there, but he's had that cue ball exactly where he wanted it. And we've had everything in this session so far. A bit of drama, a few missed pots, some steals.
75.
The only thing we haven't had is a century. Come on, Dave, give us the century.
$76. 82. 83.
Oh, and he's played one here. What a shot that is by Dave Gilbert. 381 centuries in the back so far throughout his career. 17 of them here. Oh, but it's not going to be number 18. No century. Won't be too bothered about that. Excellent contribution of 89 gives Dave Gilbert the penultimate frame of this session, and he now extends his lead to 5 frames.
Concentration and focus for long periods of time. But on the other side of it, the fact that it's 3 sessions allows him to have a better session tomorrow if he comes out thinking better.
Okay, well, is it going to be 3-5 or 6-2? Let's find out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of body language that is negative at the moment from Robert. A lot of grimacing, a lot of shaking of the head. It's tough, isn't it, Sean, to play great snooker, especially at the Crucible, if you're not really enjoying yourself.
Yeah, well, we've always talked about it as the theatre of dreams, and when you're out there flying, it is the best place in the world to play. When you're not, you can feel the walls closing in on you. There'll be part of Rob Milkins that just wants this session over. But don't forget, he could have won every single frame this afternoon. He's been involved. David Gilbert hasn't swamped him here. There's been plenty of unforced errors. There's been plenty of mistakes from both. But Dave has made the fewer. And he's pounced on the mistakes Milkins has made. The pot success in this match are very, very close. It's 90% for Dave Gilbert, and it's just 89% for Milkins. Forgive me, 86%. It's not that far off. But the ones that Robs have missed have been significant ones. His mistakes have been capitalised on. But that's excellent. One of his better ones today.
This is going to take some working out. Sort of, you can't really see a path back to balk. It's a sort of situation where you sometimes see the top players try and pop their way out of trouble, but not really that much on either. How do you contain this?
Well, I've put that line up there. I mean, that's a possibility. He'd need a lot of left-hand side to get through that gap of the two reds through the middle of the table. But it's, if he gets the gap, it might lead him into the back of that red. That's what he's looking at.
Yeah, it's an option, isn't it? So what else can he do?
But he can see those reds down the left-hand side full ball, so he'll only get 2 attempts at this should he miss it. Then he'll get warned that he has to hit a red.
Good chance of getting this right. It's a big target. Well, hit the wrong red. Okay. Pink's in open play. Black obviously tied up.
One.
Would have liked to have been the other side of the blue, though. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially with the brown off the spot. He's got options.
Well, he's overhit this by a mile. He's going to be okay, but he didn't play to finish there. That's not what he intended to do. He's just lost his touch and feel here a little bit. It's just deserted him when he needs it most.
And that nudge on the pink has hurt him somewhat as well. So even though he is on a red, the break now to continue things gets more difficult. What's he looking at here? Well, that's a bit of a shot. What a shot that is.
Alex Higgins, eat your heart out. That was one of the hurricane shots.
Yeah, forced into it to some degree. If that had gone wrong, we'd have probably been digging him out. But as it's turned out, he retained control of the cue ball brilliantly.
Yeah, the cue ball's been cleaned a number of times this afternoon, more than I can remember in recent seasons, actually. I'm not sure why. Yeah, there's been lots of talk in recent seasons that all the players, well, the majority of the players have all switched to a different chalk
11.
manufacturer that reduces kicks and bad bounces, and it doesn't bite into the tip as the cue ball as much and leave the residue on. So it can only really be fibres of cloth, I'm sure. It's just as the cue ball travels around the table, it's picking the fibres up that tend to come off a brand new cloth. But he's just finished the wrong side of this red. Obviously, the red to left centre is unmissable.
Yeah, and he's sort of only got the blue to work with in the short term here. It was very difficult to get the correct side of that blue, even with a lot of right-hand spin. So once again, in and out of balk just adds to the possibility of it going wrong.
And it just shows the importance of cue ball control, doesn't it, Steve? Because it's not necessarily the proximity to the next ball that's key, although that is important. It's about being the correct side so you can easily get to the next shot. Now he's got to find his way through the ball colours. How's his angle? Going to hit the yellow full in the face. That yellow was always there. He was trying to squeeze between the gap of brown and yellow. Very small angle of attack through that gap. Oh, and he's very lucky to have got that double kiss and sent the cue ball back to balk. Dave with a wry look up to his supporters in the balcony. This could have gone anywhere. This could have been end of frame. But that second kiss sent the cue ball back away from the danger zone.
But 17 points from that position. He'd be distraught at that.
Thank you.
Well, Rob Milkins' supporters making themselves heard. They're shouting for their man as well, they might. He's had opportunities in every frame. He needs to start putting these away. This isn't straightforward. The red top side of the middle. This is missable across the nap. Yeah, that wasn't anything like as easy as it looked. And Dave Gilbert's supporters getting involved as well.
Yeah, interesting times in this match. Dave Gilbert sensing his opponent is really on the ropes. He'd love to win this frame, really punish him. It's been really poor positional play from Robert Milkins. Dave Gilbert has looked much more solid in that department. No heroics there. Is it desperation stakes yet for Robert Milkins? Certainly he's given us that impression. Just needs to be patient here.
Yeah, and this is the challenge of these 3-session matches, isn't it? It's a completely different animal to a 2-session match. There is no need to panic just yet. Even if you lose this frame, you're not out of it yet. You certainly give yourself a mountain to climb, but what would Dave Gilbert do and give to win this frame? He'd sleep so well, leading 6-2 going into tomorrow's second session. I think Rob Milkins has had a bit of slice of good fortune there. I'm right down the line of the shot from this commentary position. He can't get through to pot that red. That is a huge slice of luck to block that, because he didn't mean to put the cue ball there.
Not easy to see an obvious safety shot back to balk here, especially with that red over the left corner. So is it a containing shot to the top cushion? Not nice with that red near the black spot, although it would be possible. There's a red that does go. It's risky into the right corner, but if he can't see a good safety shot, yeah, he
He could potentially swerve around the yellow and play the old-fashioned dump shot and leave the cue ball down on this back cushion, but he would be guaranteed to leave Milkins with at least 2 shots. He's taken nearly a minute and a half at this, and it looks like he's going for this red. Hold on to your hats. Forced into going for it, and did. Great pot from Dave Gilbert. And how many times do you see this when a player's forced into potting their way out of trouble, and they do? Great shot.
God, I thought for a second he was on the black. If he'd have been on the black, it would have been wonderful. It's a nasty green, just because of the awkward bridging. Makes this a lot harder. And arguably not the right shot. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you've got to go for the green. If you pot the green, you're almost guaranteed to be on a red, and then you're away with a chance to extend your lead to 6-2. Can't be turning chances like this down. Yeah, good shot. Not much control of the cue ball. How's it going to finish? Does this red pass the other one into the corner? If it does, he's perfect. Oh, it's tight.
4.
I'm not sure, Steve.
No. I don't know about the one below it as well. Can he get to that bottom of the 2? That's what he's looking at, and they'll leave himself a thin cut on the black. There's a red over the middle pocket. That helps the positional side of this.
5.
Not a certainty to cut this back, especially if he's going to play it softly. But you'd expect him to get it.
$13. $18. 19.
And what a chance Dave Gilbert's got now to take a commanding 6-2 overnight lead. Be delighted with that 4-frame advantage.
26.
And they're all there for him. Just needs to hold his composure.
27.
Yeah. Robert Milkins has been asking to be picked off today. It looks like Dave Gilbert's delivering in that department. Just doubling down on making sure a position here. He senses this is his moment to really strike.
34. Yeah. 35.
4 reds in open play, really, and that would be enough to seal the frame.
$42.
Could have tried to keep on the black there.
$43.
Well, again, not for the first time in this session. We've seen a player leave the cue ball short of the blue. Now, it shouldn't make that much of a difference with the red hanging over this bottom left-hand corner pocket. But it's stress that he didn't need. He's got a few of these extensions under the table.
48.
And it just obviously lengthens the cue. That adds weight. That changes how you get spin. It just changes how the cue performs ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think he should have played for one of these 2 reds off the previous black, but may not matter.
Test with flying colours. 32 points the lead, soon to be 39 with just 59 remaining, so a handful more shots and he'll be across the line here in this frame, and he'll be very, very happy with his afternoon's work here.
56.
As for Robert Milkins, he has a lot to think about overnight. Not nice to sleep on a 6-2 deficit, but he's going to have to come back tomorrow
57.
with a different outlook. Needs that cue ball to travel. Surely he's not snookered himself on the red he needs for the frame. Surely
64.
not. Well, he has. Goodness me, what a mistake that is.
Well, there's a big area of the table a bit further down there towards the blue that would have given himself a sniff at this red. Basic error at this level. Maybe a lifeline for Robert Milkins. He's perked up a bit in his chair.
Steve, what are you playing here? Safe, or would you chance the double?
Well, I think we know. Played it with an element of safety, so
There, Gilbert. 64.
got to say the right shot, although you never know where the red's going to end up. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because if you miss it and you lose a frame because of it, we sort of we say it was going too far, trying to keep the break going. But you don't want to lose the table, do you, once you're among the balls? Especially when you've made the positional mistake.
Well, whatever it is, it's a chance to come back into this frame that Rob Milkins shouldn't have had. They really ought to have been shaking hands by now, and they both know that. And even though he'd still be trailing by 2, if Rob Milkins could find some way of winning this frame, it would be massive in the context of this match. Dave Gilbert stood at the other end of the arena here. All he can think about is, why didn't I get on that last red? He looks fairly calm and collected, but I promise you that's what he's thinking. Why didn't I just put the cue ball in a better position? Well, he's played the double to free the other end, and he's got it. What a shot from Robert Milkins. Didn't see that one coming. And Steve, you played a shot like that a few seasons ago here. Very similar shot.
Wow. Every storyline's different
7.
of a frame and how to try and win it, but what a way to try and win it.
And he's perfect on the black. No need to try to move this red. He can stun in perfectly behind it.
Back against the wall. Can he get out of this? This could be good as well. Couldn't have put it any better.
15.
Needs the blue or better after this red.
Didn't
16.
really hit the cue ball correctly, but he got away with it. This would be an incredible steal with what's gone on today. How he'd have loved another couple of ball rolls there of the cue ball. It's not the easiest shot to draw the cue ball back from the jaws of a centre pocket. That's probably what he's going to do. No, he's decided playing the run through, leave himself distance. Big yellow.
21.
Magnificent. After everything that's happened this afternoon, to just drop the yellow in, fully committed. And Dave Gilbert not
26.
giving anything away in his chair, but he will be sick to have lost this frame. And he's still going to lead by 2, but he will be annoyed.
30.
Where has this come from? What an astonishing player
35.
Robert Milkins is. Great to see. He's had a tough day out there. Really hard. We felt for him. We all know what it's like. This would be massive.
41.
Absolutely brilliant clearance by Robert Milkins. With what's gone on today, he'll sleep a lot better tonight. 5-3 behind, but he's still in the match. And look at the body language now. He's a totally different person.